you want to create a membership, but you want to make sure you choose the right platform, not just for yourself, but also for the people who are going to be in it, because at the end of the day, memberships are all about helping people to come back. So in this video, we're going to help you decide which membership is right for you and your people, whether you're building it for coaching, content creation, or anything else. This is going to be the place for you to know. So by the end of this video, you'll hear the pros and cons for each, and also what I believe is the best for what you're trying to create. So let's get into it. So the importance of choosing the right platform goes beyond just what you enjoy creating, but also this is all about your people and how it's going to be easy for them to come back and want to come back. Because the thing about membership models that people don't talk about the most is churn rates. About having people who are going to be showing up. So let's say you have 100 people in your membership site, and there's a certain churn rate where month to month people who end up not subscribing or not re-entering, not rejoining again. That is a really big thing to note when you're creating a membership, because if you don't choose a platform that's right for your people and how both they learn and also how they engage, that churn rate can go up even higher, regardless of how amazing the content is. That is how impactful these platforms can be. So let's start with the first one that I think everyone knows, Facebook groups. They are the biggest thing out there, I feel like, for what was the start of memberships for a lot of people, because it was so easy. Everyone is on Facebook. It's why it's one of the biggest pros they have, is everyone's pretty much on there, or at least have a profile, whether you've logged in months ago or not. They already understand what that is, and there's not that much of a buy-in to get people to understand what it is and why to use Facebook. And some of the other pros they do have is it is very easy to set up, and it's very easy to also grow a little bit more organically than the other platforms we'll talk about later, because they have that Facebook group suggestions tab. So if you ever join a Facebook group, they'll start to understand based on keywords that's in the description and the title of Facebook groups, whether or not to show you more groups that are in that similar line, which is really helpful. But is it going to be as impactful for churn rates? It's hard to say. The other thing to say about their pros is that they do also have it where it's integrated. All of the notifications around the Facebook group, around posts, are all integrated inside of Facebook. So if people do check Facebook, let's say daily, they will get that in their notifications feed along with all their other friends and family notifications too. So it is a lot more integrated. Now with that said, I don't really know if it's always going to be the best for every person. One of the main reasons why is because they do have limited customization options. So as we'll talk about in a second and show you when it comes to Circle and when it comes to even Discord and a couple of other areas, you have more flexibility on what you can change, what you can customize, and also the features are a lot better on these other platforms because they are dedicated to making it more of a membership focused, a user engagement focused area. Facebook groups are still have some of those elements, like they finally just introduced chat rooms in the last, I think, couple of years, and a couple other things too, but they're still pretty limited, especially if you want to have dedicated threads or certain things for niche topics, as we'll show you in a second. The other thing is too that this is also a con. Even though it's all on Facebook, it's all on Facebook. So when they go in to check their notifications for their friends and family, they might get distracted and maybe show up for the group once and then forget about it, or turn off notifications because they're not really going there technically for your group every time. They're going there to just to check Facebook, and that's good, but also can be a bad thing and make it harder for them to want to join versus like watch their family's video that they saw. There is going to be less control over the experience and also how Facebook decides to show your membership to them and your Facebook group to them. So you do have that. Unfortunately, you are in the hands of Facebook in terms of how often they're going to show your group feeds in their feed. So I think it's really helpful for those who have really big, large communities and have kind of like more of a broader casual space. I see this really done well for people who have book reading clubs or things where it's like you're really only using it to show up for one event and, maybe minimal back and forth, but it's not really used usually for dedicated membership models. It can be used and it can be okay, but I see it really best used for, let's say there's like 100,000 people. You'll see them through locally. They'll have local chapters of Buy Nothing where people will just, hey, do you want this carousel for free? Feel free to take it off my hands. That's really good for Facebook groups and anything around like those type of niche but more casual endeavors. Again, a lot of that is free though. So when it comes to paid, it can run into a little bit of issue, but again, why it's important to know then what's your options if that doesn't sound like your people, or if you're wanting to make sure that you create a membership that is something they want to come back to, that's not just tied to Facebook. Because the other con that I didn't put, but let's be honest, not everyone really wants to be on Facebook. No one really wants to be there as often. There are some people who still have that as their dedicated platform, but the more and more that years go by, months go by, people are wanting to take a step back from social media, and Facebook still does count as social media. So you do have that also in mind, where people have, I know in the last few months, been deciding to delete those apps off their phone. So in case that does happen, that can create a little bit more friction on why people might want to join it. Now for those that are not social media specific, so there's things like Circle, Discord, a couple other ones like Member Vault, Thinkific, and Teachable, where they're not really tied to a specific social media platform, which is good. good, but they can also have their own pros and cons for that. So let's go into the first one, which is Circle. Circle, I think, is becoming more and more popular over the last couple years. There's also another one similar to it that I can't even remember the name of because Circle has gotten bigger. But I think Circle is a really interesting dynamic because it is focused primarily on memberships, and they have a lot of integrations. There are a couple things that I think are really beneficial about it that go beyond Facebook. So one of them is you can customize the branding like to a T. So obviously if you're in Facebook, you customize the banner, but it's still Facebook. So you don't have as much customization there. This one you can change the colors, the photos, everything how it shows up, and it's really even each circle that you'll see, you can customize the photo of the circle inside of there. So that's something also, the terminology is a little bit different with Circle. The name of the company is Circle, obviously, but the way they have different feeds, or if you know of Slack, different channels, each channel is called a circle, hence why they named it's Circle. But that's why it's important for you to realize that although this platform might be something that you're not used to, it's integrated in Kajabi. So if you already have a Kajabi account, you can also immediately just start to use their community that is Circle, that's housed in Kajabi for free, depending on your plan, which is a really great benefit to have, something that even I've been doing for myself. Beyond that, their features are really interesting because they have a lot of features that would be really great in Facebook groups if Facebook groups decided to grow. But a lot of the time, so for example, something that is very common for a lot of people who are doing memberships is some type of video element. So video sessions, online sessions, something like that, where you have that there. And usually you have to use Zoom or something like an actual call platform. The cool thing about Circle is they actually have an integrated live room where actually it can be recorded, or it's still inside of Circle. So you have less friction that you're taking people away from the platform. You can actually hold the sessions inside of Circle. And it looks very similar to a Zoom, if you know of Zoom or Google Meet, but it's inside of Circle. So it keeps everything very centralized, which is really good for your people because the more places they have to go up and down, it can be a little bit harder. And the really cool thing also about this same element, the same feature that you can use, it's also a live room. So for example, one of the communities that I'm building for myself, which is a neurodivergent hobby club, one of the features that I really wanted to make sure of is to have a 24/7 accountability room. So like at any point in time, people who are on, in the same group can join that room and they can just do the hobby themselves or talk to themselves. You don't have to be on there, but it gives people a live that they can just join at any time, which is amazing because that really creates that more community engagement, especially as you get bigger. It allows for people to engage more than just the written posts. It really allows them to feel that community element beyond just you, the host, who's doing it, which is huge. And affects turn rate. So the other couple things I think are really important about Circle that is a pro in my eyes is also beyond that, they do have challenges you can do. So for those who have, challenges that you want to create for your people. So a lot of people do quarterly challenges or annual challenges. Like if you have a writing membership, that'd be perfect for you, that you can also house inside of there. There's also things like you can do audio responses. You can't do that in Facebook groups. There's things like that where they have poll features as well. They have a lot that's really, really good to use. Now, again, they have it integrated inside of Kajabi. So if you have Kajabi, you're already one step ahead if you want to use Circle. You can still use I think it's circle.so because there is a different Circle company. A circle.so you can buy on its own and just use that inside of there. I do have a couple clients who do that as well, just because their website's on Squarespace and they just didn't see the point in, getting Kajabi just for a community. So it's really helpful for that. The main con I will say is there is going to be a learning curve for both you and also the user. So naturally, any platform that we're just not using daily, it's going to take a little bit of time. But if you create some type of walkthrough videos, which is I think also very important for your people, you can start to, again, help them to slowly get introduced into these areas, just like how we got introduced into Facebook and Instagram and it became part of our daily life. There's a way to make it a part of your day. And also depending on your community level, you might not even want them to be in there daily. Like I know for some of the memberships that I've been in, yes, there's going to be still content talked about each day, but a lot of people come in weekly or every other day, and that's great. But as long as you have something that's there that allows them to say, okay, I understand vaguely what's going on, and if I have questions, I have that there. It's a really nice feature to have. And they also have separations between feed posts, so if people want to write in the feed, and they also can separate it based off of the channels, i.e. circles. And they also have rooms, so you can make dedicated rooms. So for example, for me, my hobby club, it allows people to have like photography specific rooms where they can chat with each other and have a really great time that doesn't affect the feed at all. And the other thing I will say, I know I'm talking a lot about Circle, but it's because I've done enough research on this for Circle. That Circle has also, even though they have these different channels that you can post into, the central feed takes all of that inside of one feed. So if you're someone who doesn't really enjoy being on all the channels, but you want to see the feed that has all of that in there for you, it really works for whoever is wanting to to engage most inside of the platform. Now that I've talked your ear off about Circle, I'll do a final kind of like one-liner. It's a really great platform in case you want to have something that's like a high-ticket membership, or for niche communities that you really want to have those more engagement levels, and again, really focus on the member aspect so that the churn rate, amount of people who want to come back each month and pay each month, is going to be higher than it would be for something like Facebook group, or even like Discord we'll talk about in a second, or Slack, or the other elements that don't really have as many features for each type of engagement style. Because the thing is, just like how there is learning styles, how everyone learns differently, whether you learn better through video or audio, same thing for those who are in memberships. Some people enjoy mostly the feed aspect where they like to see the written posts and come underneath them. Others really are just trying to join for the live elements, and to have something that has all of those elements in one place is so important for both your people and for you as well. Now for Discord. I found out about it in 2020 when everyone was kind of going on there more for gaming. You see it a lot for tech elements, but also it's becoming more popular for free groups as well, and to replace Facebook groups, because again, not everyone wants to be on Facebook. I think Discord is a really good thing to have. Its pros can sometimes also be its cons. So the pros about it is crazy customizable. You can do so much in there. They really focus on having different roles, different channels, also similar to Circle or to Slack. They have different voice chats you can separate, events in there, similar to also Circle as well, and Facebook as well. But they have so many elements. They also integrate with like Giphy and things like this and they have bots you can add in there. So, if you want to have a reminder bot, it can remind you in certain elements. It's really, really, really customizable, and I think that's an amazing element of it. That can also be its downfall, because as someone who was trying to choose the right membership for my community, I thought about Discord because it has all these elements. If you want to have like a lot of different channels and also have it feel a lot more integrated, it's a lot harder to do on Discord. You can have the customization. It's amazing for that, and you can have those levels, but you do run the issue of, unlike Circle, it does not allow all of those feeds that are in those channels to be in one place. So you do have to like literally go through each channel to figure out what's happening where, and it's great for organization, but terrible for someone who doesn't want to be checking channels all the time. So there is that element there. Also, there is going to be, I think, an even higher learning curve for some people, because it can be kind of overwhelming for non-tech savvy people. It also does not have the ability to create subscriptions through like Circle, which has in-house, you can, have people subscribe through Circle. You don't have that element here. So you have to have some type of separate payment processor like a Stripe or PayPal to then reroute them to Discord. You also have to invite them like through a custom link, which can expire. You have to like create some new ones each time. There can just be a lot of like friction points for the initial setup. Once people are in there, and if they like that instant engagement type of style, which Discord is really good at, I think that this is really good for communities that are for like the gaming niche, tech niche, any people who kind of like want to go back and forth in a more casual way, but have the flexibility to have different features. But I will say, as someone who even likes Discord, there was almost too much. It's that kind of like analysis paralysis by having too many choices. It creates a little bit of a steep learning curve for both you, but also for your people as well. So you'll still have to walk them through kind of like what stuff goes where, but I don't know if it's going to be best for every person, especially if your ideal client or the main people you help out with are non-tech savvy people, if they run a little bit older, or also they just don't want to have another app on their phone, because some people don't. I think Discord can be really helpful, but also I think it just runs its own issues depending on what you're going for. So Thinkific, Teachable, and Slack also are more not fully memberships, but they do have membership elements to them. Those can be helpful depending on what you're going for. I will say with Slack, in case you do want to go with Slack, there are a couple communities that I am in that are in Slack. They are pretty much all business focused, and just because I think Slack is it really is usually meant for teams and business owners. So you do run the risk of people who, if you're doing this for more of like a casual element or personal element, so it's not directly related to business, and you want to set something up in Slack, there might be some friction, I should say, or resistance to like, I don't know if I really want to be on Slack on my off time, because the natural societal association to Slack is work. So in case it's not like work specific or business specific, you might run that issue with Slack of people just not wanting to be on there because it's like, it feels too work elementy. So just know that there is always going to be that kind of thing. You have to work with people's brain on what they relate to. And I will say, I still think it's really good. They do finally have integrations. So you can have audio responses that auto transcribe, which is amazing. They do have the channel elements as well. They do have voice chats. I don't think they have any in-house event elements like the live rooms and so forth that Circle has, or even integration that I think some of that Discord has, but there is probably a way to integrate, Zoom or something else in there if you wanted to use that. Again, same thing. There's not really a way to have that monetization model also as easily as Circle is. So those are the main platforms that I see the most right now being used for membership models. They are becoming bigger, as they should. They are a really great model if you can really understand how to meet your people where they're at and help create an environment that makes them want to come back to month after month, which is partly the content, but also partly the platform, which is why I created this entire video. So depending on what your type of community type that you want to do, your monetization type, and also how your people are going to want to engage best, what's going to be easiest for you to set up, it's really important for you to see. As you can tell, I kind of lean towards Circle because I did do the work of trying to figure out, I've had Facebook groups before, I've been in many Discord servers before, I've been in many Slack servers before, and for all the elements that I wanted for my business, Circle made the most sense. And I'm saying that I don't have a sponsorship anywhere, just saying that based off of my own research and the features that I needed. Bare minimum, you should always try and choose a platform that's going to help support your vision, but also the features that you need. And I really wanted to have both features for those who want to engage more passively through the written elements like a feed would be, but also the live elements like the live room and so forth. So important to know what features are your non-negotiables and which ones aren't, because that'll help even more you choose what's going to be the platform right for you. If you have any questions or still wondering what is the right platform, feel free to let me know down below, but I'm hoping that this video allowed you to kind of have a little bit more understanding on what's going to be best for your people and also for you to create before Facebook, Discord, Slack, and Circle will allow you to be able to feel even more confident knowing the membership is right for your people once you choose. Now, once you choose your membership platform, let's talk about actually how to sell it. The different ways to sell your membership on your sales page, that's different than selling a course. It is drastically different in terms of what you want to highlight, what you want to speak most about, and also what your people want to know most about that will keep them wanting to come back for. So watch out for that video, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, happy selling.